Hey guys, what is going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to an episode of Cards and Castles TV Commentary. Got some fun matches lined up for you today, so gonna kind of keep the intro short as we jump right into it. So let's go ahead and jump into our first matchup and see what goes down. Alright, so our first match is going to be Redson taking on a mismatch of letters that I don't want to try and pronounce. So for now, I'm going to call the opponent S. And it looks to be a couple of Druid decks. Of course, Druid Warlock taking on Druid Crusader. A bit of a lag there to start, but no big deal as we jump into the match. S begins his game by throwing out a Lumberjack, nice and simple. Of course, we want to get some new cards. And although his opening hand, not the worst thing that you could see. Red responds with coining out an injured Trent. Interesting how he goes ahead and uses the coin. He could have afforded to take the damage, but I guess just wants the early presence. Lumberjack going directly into that Trent, and of course Faithful Drake coming out to intercept. And that is a nice counter, so of course Faithful Drake having a little more HP than Trent, not going to be able to really kill it. So of course Trent does retreat, but not in a way, of course, that directly survive, or at least lets Trent survive. For some reason I was a little trouble getting that statement out, but of course Drake is going to get the damage onto that Trent, and of course to get rid of it. Blue Firebolt on the Elvish Hunter, so of course no discounted companions. You see two Centaurs in S's hand going back to full price. Because of that Blacksmith comes out, gives the Faithful Drake a little bit more of a buff, and of course that Drake going to get a nice chunk out of the castle, at least a minor chunk. 3 damage, bringing the castle down to 17, supported by that Salahar Rider. Fear, of course, sending that Faithful Drake back, though, so getting some more draw, and of course another Blue Fire to take away that Blacksmith buff. However, it looks like S is going to draw that right back into his hand, so of course, I think meant to play the Blacksmith first, but no big deal. Damage onto Red's castle, so 2 rather than 3, and Faithful Drake also not really moving up, which is kind of interesting there as well. Beast Smash, though, is going to be a nice cleanup. That Wolf trading to the Drake, and of course, if Bearhawk survives this Salahar Last Will, which it does, it will be able to kill off both of the riders, which we do see right there. Of course, it does bring Red's castle just under, or a little above 10 HP, being at 11. Centaur coming out now to intercept that Beastmaster. Of course, that'll be a clean trade if that does happen. Armory on Red's side of the board, not being able to take, well, at least not making really an impact. Still trades with the Centaur regardless. And of course, Beastmaster's ability being negated since there are no beasts. Ranger, though, from S, that's a nice healthy body being at 8-8. Darkbender going to come out now as well, protected by that Dwarven Miner. Although, we do see the Centaur in his hand, so obviously that will be a clean Darkbender kill. Armory going down for good measure, I guess, as well. Although, Ranger going to go ahead, hit the Dwarven Miner. Centaur comes out now, kills off the Armory. So, I do believe that is a slight, well, in my eyes, it's a slight misplay. Darkbender obviously takes more priority than the Armory. Darkbender is a range unit, after all, that can now cleanly kill that Centaur without any repercussions to Red. So, yeah, it's. I do think maybe in that moment it would have been smarter to take down the Darkbender, especially since there is no chain on Red's side of the board as well, being Druid Warlock rather than Viking. Anyway, Dwarven Miner going to come out now with the assist of Demonic Rage, which is a surprising card to be throwing on Dwarven Miner. Will take out the range. Of course, Darkbender, like I mentioned, does kill the Centaur, and of course, you know, lives to see another day. Shaman from S as well, looking to draw something useful here. Draws another Armory, which will go down as well, creating a 5-6 Shaman, looking to punish that Darkbender. Although Red going to quickly respond with another Demonic Rage of his own, snipes off that Shaman at no cost to him, well, the Demonic Rage, obviously. And Centaur going to go ahead, chip a little bit of castle damage for himself, getting the first bit of damage on his side, going 17-11. Luminaris honestly not going to help S. Again, no knights in S's hand to use that, so he's forced to throw out the other Blacksmith and call it a turn, giving Red an opportunity to strike the castle if he wants to, and he will. Another Demonic Rage comes out, 16 attack on that Darkbender, and of course the Wizard as well, looking to deal the final blow. Even if Darkbender is killed, Wizard is going to finish off the game unless, you know, a companion lurks in S's hand, which we don't see. We do see a Swordsman. That Swordsman will clear off the Darkbender, and of course, smart positioning on S's part from the Blacksmith right here. Wizard not able to move up and kill off the castle without having to deal with this Blacksmith first, but Honestly, if Red has any card that can deal at least 2 damage to any unit in his hand, which we do see is going to be the Ranger that comes out, it will be a game over with Red's victory anyway. Honestly, a very entertaining match to say the least. Demonic Rage seeing some good value here in the deck. And again, like I mentioned before, that Darkbender keeping it alive, in my eyes, a huge misplay. It was actually the main reason why Red was able to make a comeback, placing 2 Demonic Rages on his deal a total of 16 damage to the face. But yeah, I mean, if he did manage to kill off the Darkbender right in the armory, this would probably be a much different game. But it goes to show you, always prioritize the range units over the buildings. You know, even if the buildings can be a little bit scary. Things like armory or church, things that can give some value over time. The range units come first because they can do a lot more damage a lot quicker. So, good victory for Red though, and of course that does transition us into our second match. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. And that second match is going to be Esikhan, I hopefully pronounced that correctly, taking on Art of War 93. You're going to abbreviate the art just to, make things quicker. Anyway, looking to be a Pirate Crusader taking on a Viking Crusader. Okay, so this time a little bit more representation in the Crusader line of decks. Art of War going to start off with a Master Thief. Esikhan responds with an Assyrian Cultist, so very good way to threaten that Thief. Will Art move it in? Will he not? We'll see. He does move it in, not after throwing the Paladin, though. So, of course, looking to potentially keep the pressure up a little bit. Maybe because that Cultist won't be able to take out the Paladin with one shot. He does clear off the Thief, so again, that leaves Art in open castles. He does retreat, though. Throws a Dwarven Miner out. Honestly, not the smartest decision to throw it like that. Of course, I would have probably played Paladin and Dwarven Miner, opposite each other. That way, the Cultist right here wouldn't be able to snipe off the Miner, and of course, Miner presently is the only way that Cultist can die right now without getting some kind of buff maybe on Paladin. Maybe that's what he has, so I don't know. Although we are seeing a lot of Dwarven elements in this deck, and of course there's the Dwarven weapons, so in my opinion, honestly, this looks to be a Pirate Crusader Dwarven deck, or at least a Dwarf-focused deck. We'll see how that goes later down the line. Books came out for Esikhan a while back, and of course that Blacksmith, like I mentioned before, it did come out and did kill off that Miner with relative ease. So now, of course, Book's looking to kill off the Paladin, maybe Cultist looking to deal some castle damage. Although Art does have some ways of dealing with this, of course, that Dwarven weapons will be able to be played if he wants to, getting some damage buffs on the Sniper and Paladin, which can, of course, clear this board. If I can remember correctly, I mean, that range should be, that should be a or at least the book should be in killable range. That's what I'm trying to say here. Although Paladin looking to move up, two Master Thieves get played. The Dwarven Weapons does get played as well. So looking to not really kill off this board, it looks like. I mean, he could have gone for it. I just don't. Maybe he was afraid of some sort of push or pull, maybe, on the Sharpshooter. I'm not sure. Anyway, Book's looking to retreat a little bit now, knowing it's being threatened. And, of course, Wizard comes out as well. The Estate will be all Art plays, though, for his following turn, and, of course, repositioning to looking to maybe kill a couple things. There we see the Temple, though. Temple, of course, probably one of the more dangerous cards out of the Viking faction, in my opinion. Cultist going to go ahead and shoot the Paladin, which, of course, does connect for a chain that kills off the Master Thief and does a little castle damage there. Although School of Knowledge could be useful. Merchant Execution, though, on the Cultist, and of course the Sharpshooter coming down, killing off the Wizard. So both range threats have been eliminated. Not being able to play the School, though, but now we do know that maybe the deck is a little bit of a School Dwarven combination there. Although Cloak of Ice on the books, another one being summoned from more draw, and of course that Sharpshooter being frozen and looking to die, thanks to the books being played aggressively here. Although Mordok from Art will do a little bit of hopefully be able to kill off this Books right here. Does pull the Horseman, which kills off the Blacksmith, so no more buff. However, the Chain does kick in and does get rid of the Horseman, so the Sharpshooter is still exposed and probably is going to fall this turn. The Book, yeah, not hesitating on that, killing off the Sharpshooter, dealing another chain damage to the castle. Flux coming out as well, followed by a Blacksmith to support the one that had fallen. And, of course, back to Art. Art being able to do a little bit more with the School now in his hand. Of course, that Master Thief Dino Rider combination will clear the board of some immediate threats. Thief going into the Flux, the Dino Rider into the Books, but we did see Synchro Strike go into Esikhan's hand. I forgot the other one. What was the other one? Pillage. Pillage was the other one. But Synchro Strike, honestly, probably one of the more dangerous ones. All units can gain that +1 movement, which can be not really beneficial to Art, especially since esikhan does rock the Temple currently on the board. Yenneroth, though, from esikhan, going to go ahead and put a temporary freeze to things, not going after the Sharpshooter, instead going a bit more aggressively, looking to take down the Dino Rider. So curious there. I probably would have thought that he would have gone for the Sharpshooter because that can be a bit more problematic. But anyway, another estate plus captain, so looking to make full use out of that School of Knowledge in the next turn. Arbiter, though, from esikhan, we're going to go ahead and clear that School of Knowledge up, as you can see there, so blocking all forms of extra draw into Art's hand. The Yenneroth does take the more interesting approach, though, does get rid of the Southport Captain as well, so interesting there, interesting decision, if you will. Holy Grail, though, from Art, another card that you don't really see. Well, probably because of the Dwarf factor, you want to get another Paladin in there, I guess. Sharpshooter going to go ahead and finish off the Yenneroth. That Question Knight did a little bit more damage, too, going back to esikhan's turn now. And again, he is up in terms of castle health, but we'll see how he responds. Shaman, Wind Mage as well, following that up, and of course the Freezing Pillar, another big freeze card. We'll go ahead and put a stop to the majority of Art's remaining units, Dino Rider, Sharpshooter, and one of the Questing Knights getting frozen there in his tracks. And Captain not able to really do damage to the freeze, or at least not kill the Freezing Pillar. Can do damage, but it can't kill. My bad. Lightning Blade, though, for Shaman, that's going to be 5 damage, plus additional Chain Lightning of 4. So, of course, Sharpshooter, Dino Rider dying as well. Another Temple, and of course, that does end the game. Blacksmith would have done the 4 damage. The Wind Mage being able to clear the remaining 3. Honestly, once that Lightning Blade Shaman kind of connected, that was the game there. No matter if he had that second Temple down, there would have still been enough damage, I believe, on the board to pretty much clear off the rest of Art's castle health. Not bad. I imagine this was a Lightning Freeze combination, which is still, of course, you can see very effective. Unfortunately, School Dwarf not really coming out on top here. The idea is there. I mean, School is a very powerful engine, so to kind of mix it in with other things isn't surprising. However, this iteration falling at the hands of Freeze Lightning. And a very solid win for esikhan as we move on forward into the final match of this video, match number 3. Coming at you right now. Honestly, bit of a surprising one as a spoiler, but you'll see in a moment. Let's go ahead and jump into that matchup. And for our final match, it is going to be USBC taking on ELO 2323. Going to just go ahead and, ELO, hopefully, he doesn't mind me just using that instead. And it looks to be another Pirate Crusader taking on a Ninja Druid. So another Druid deck into the mix up here. And there you can see the big surprising factor of this matchup. Suit of Armor. I mean, it's not uncommon to have people trying a couple of suit decks. There is some small sort of benefit to playing them, if you will. So we'll see if ELO can do something about that, or at least make it count. He'll start off though with a Lumberjack, of course, getting some hopeful draw, or hopefully he'll get some draw. Fix my English there for a hot second. USBC gonna go ahead and pass his first turn. And of course, that does leave room for armor to be summoned, but he'll go with the wolf instead. And I just kind of hovered over the suit of armor for a hot second there. This was, of course, when I was recording the matchup. I just kind of noticed that in the hand. Elvish Thief going to go ahead, kill off the Lumberjack. Good value from the Elvish Thief, I should say. Quick pause there. Of course, killing off the Lumberjack, but of course not really killing off the Thief either, which of course leaves it around for more treasure value later down the road. So we'll see if ELO gives him that treasure value by killing off the Elvish Thief now, but we'll see. Spiny looking to be the card, though, that will be thrown out, as you can see momentarily. Not going for the Elvish Thief, though. He will go for the castle hit, so 4 additional damage, on the castle, bringing the game to 2015. Inspire, going to go ahead and bring the guards and shield runner into the matchup here, but Priest going to go ahead and be summoned instead. Takes out the Spiny, of course. Thief trades with the wolf, so preventing the wolf from giving Spiny that buff, very, very smart. And then here we see the suit begins to move. We see suit of armor being placed, and there we see the swiftness as well. So we'll see if it can go all the way. Hoping it does. Spoiler alert. You'll see what happens, even though that wasn't really a spoiler. Anyway, Dagger Storm is the big card, so that looking to put a hard stop on the suit of armor. Unfortunately, if it can get to the castle if it gets more movement, but that'll be something we have to see later down the line. Beastmaster to support that suit of armor, of course. Beastmaster going ahead and summoning Bear Hog and Northland's Bear. Onslaught, will bleed the beast man. Not enough to kill it though. However, mugging with the help of metal will kill off these beasts. And of course, it does leave suit of armor, but it does take another 3 damage thanks to the bleed. However, there we see the replacement technique, so now we know what the suit of armor was, designed for in this deck. A little bit of replace suit action, if you will. Captain, though, going to come out now, plus armory, looking to block a little bit here. Now, there is well, I guess there really isn't. I would say there is some small option here to replace a suit of armor to save it, but that would be replacing, or at least that would be wasting the replace, which I don't think ELO is going to do here. Even though it is the option if he didn't want to save that suit of armor, although he's looking to maybe draw another option here. We do see Killer Rabbit, not enough to really utilize the replacement technique though, so he is going to go ahead and pass his turn after going ahead and using Call for Aid, so bringing those 2 Northlands Rangers we see into his hand. Another Armory, plus the Asan City Guards coming out now to hopefully block off this Griffin. However, we do see a little bit of Bestial Rage action in a moment. Northlands Ranger first, though, will be summoned. Bestial Rage on that Windfall Griffin, so not only killing off the Captain, surviving the repost, but also going after one of the Armories, the topmost one, which is a very smart move there. Northland's Wolf as well to follow up, and that will be the end of ELO's turn. So, of course, Onslaught hitting one of the Rangers, not killing the Griffin, which I thought was going to be the move, but instead weakening the Ranger, and of course one of the other guards trading with that Griffin. Armory, though, from ELO is going to go ahead to buff the Wolf enough to kill that guard, I believe, was up front. Let me just quickly rewind that. Yeah, guard was up front, so that, of course, falls, and, of course, Ranger takes out the Shield Runner. No big deal there. And, of course, Killer Rabbit close behind as well, so we'll see if that gets any bit of action in this matchup, although it does see play. Robin's going to come out now from USBC, and, of course, killing off that Wolf. So he does give the buff to the Rabbit, which is interesting there. Not really killing off the Ranger, but Smuggling Ring Captain will be the play there, and of course 7 spells going into USB's hand, and we see a wide variety, things like Swiftness, Arc Fire, Chaotic Storm, Shifting Technique, lots of different things. Battle Ready being another one of those cards. Captain Battle Ready does kill off the Ranger, and of course that does leave Rabbit though alone on the board to do its thing, and actually we'll get some decent value here, of course, hitting the castle for 4, killing off the Armory, which does kill off the Robins, another smart play there. And look at this, replacement technique on that Rabbit brings out the Northlands Ranger for a big 8 hit onto the castle. Very, very solid there. And of course that does leave USBC this 1 turn to remove the Northlands Ranger with, granted 17 gold, but a lot of his hand is composed of minor spells, not a lot of which can actually do damage, so we'll see if he's able to get rid of the Ranger. Conards comes out now from USBC's hand. Reclaim takes over that Armory in the back there. Chaotic Storm dealing some castle damage, but only 1 to the Ranger, and of course Shifting Technique. Looking to draw maybe something useful. Vanish, Arcfire, dealing 2 more damage. Gonna get the last 2 done. Church comes down. Vortex Pull for no reason, and I think that's the match. It certainly is. So, in the end, suit replacement did get a solid victory here, even though it wasn't really the suit that did the win here. We did see replacement technique used in such a way that it can be game-ending. Of course, leading that big 8-9 Ranger to take a big hit out of the castle and position itself back there as well to prevent USBC from putting any forward aggression back onto the board. So, honestly, that was a fun match to watch. I'm personally sad that Suit of Armor didn't get as much action, although it did see a summon, it did see some movement, although Daggerstorm was right there to intercept that suit, so a little sad in that regard, but hopefully, his loss wasn't in vain, as ELO did pull out the victory here with the help of Replace, so a very cool sight to see indeed, and a match that is fitting to be our final one for today's episode. Alright folks, with that being said, I hope you did enjoy this edition of TV Commentary. Let me know what you guys thought of today's matches by leaving your comments down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it by clicking that thumbs up. And of course, share it with friends as well if you want to spread the word of the channel growth. And speaking of channel growth, why not help us grow by clicking that subscribe button down there at no additional cost to you. Maybe slap the notification bell as well to know when uploads do go live. Be the first to know by clicking the bell icon, and of course staying notified with the channel. And with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for me for now. So until next time, stay gaming.